encounter between Henry and Juliana in an ugly end and betrayed relationship. Henry's life was a monotonous rhythm, a never-ending cycle of work and solitude. Day in and day out, he found himself trapped in the confines of his routine, yearning for something more, something to fill the void in his heart. It was on an ordinary day, much like any other, that Juliana entered his life like a ray of sunshine piercing through the clouds. She was unlike anyone he'd ever met, with her infectious laughter and carefree spirit. From the moment their eyes met, Henry knew that his life would never be the same again. Their first encounter was serendipitous, a chance meeting in a crowded cafe on a rainy afternoon. Henry had sought refuge from the downpour, seeking solace in the warmth of a steaming cup of coffee. Juliana, with her radiant smile and friendly demeanor, struck up a conversation, effortlessly drawing Henry out of his shell. As they sat across from each other, engaged in animated conversation, Henry felt a spark ignite within him, a flicker of hope in the darkness of his solitary existence. Juliana's presence was like a breath of fresh air, invigorating and exhilarating in equal measure. Before they knew it, hours had passed, lost in the magic of their newfound connection. As they parted ways that evening, Henry couldn't shake off the feeling that he had stumbled upon something truly extraordinary, something worth holding on to with all his might. Falling in love. In the days that followed, Henry and Juliana's relationship blossomed with each passing moment. They spent every waking hour together, exploring the city hand in hand, lost in the euphoria of their newfound love. Juliana brought a sense of spontaneity into Henry's life, encouraging him to step outside of his comfort zone and embrace the unknown. Together they danced through the streets, laughed under the stars, and shared intimate moments that left Henry feeling alive in ways he had never thought possible. But amidst the whirlwind romance, Henry couldn't shake off the nagging doubts that lingered at the back of his mind. Juliana was a mystery, an enigma wrapped in layers of charm and allure. Try as he might, Henry couldn't shake off the feeling that there was more to her than met the eye. Despite his reservations, Henry found himself falling deeper and deeper in love with Juliana with each passing day. Her laughter became his melody, her smile his sunshine, her touch his solace in a world filled with chaos and uncertainty. The betrayal. It was a seemingly ordinary day when everything came crashing down around Henry. Juliana had come to visit him as she often did, her presence a beacon of light in the darkness of his mundane existence. They spent the day together, lost in each other's company, their laughter echoing through the halls of Henry's modest abode. But as the sun began to set and the shadows grew long, Juliana's demeanor shifted, her smile fading into a mask of uncertainty. With a heavy heart, Juliana confessed the truth to Henry, revealing that she could no longer stay by his side. She spoke of obligations and responsibilities, of a life that beckoned her away from him, tearing at the very fabric of their love. In a daze, Henry watched as Juliana gathered her belongings, her movements mechanical and distant. He pleaded with her to stay, to reconsider, but his words fell on deaf ears as Juliana slipped through his fingers like grains of sand. Alone once more, Henry felt the weight of his solitude bear down upon him, crushing him beneath its suffocating embrace. He clung to the remnants of their love, desperate to hold on to something that was slipping away from him with each passing moment. And then, as if to deliver the final blow, Henry discovered the truth that shattered his world into a million jagged pieces. Juliana had not only left him behind, but she had also taken everything he held dear, leaving behind nothing but an empty shell of the life they had once shared. The descent. In the aftermath of Juliana's betrayal, Henry found himself adrift in a sea of despair, his heart shattered into a million irreparable fragments. He wandered the empty halls of his home, haunted by memories of a love that had turned to ashes in his grasp. With each passing day, Henry's grief consumed him, gnawing away at his soul until there was nothing left but a hollow emptiness. He retreated into himself, shutting out the world around him as he struggled to make sense of the chaos that had become his reality. His days blurred into nights, a never-ending cycle of pain and sorrow that threatened to swallow him whole. He no longer cared about the passage of time, lost in the darkness that had become his constant companion. But even in his darkest moments, a flicker of hope remained, a tiny ember that refused to be extinguished. Deep within the recesses of his heart, Henry clung to the memories of Juliana, a bittersweet reminder of a love that had burned bright before fading into oblivion. The end. And so it was that Henry's story came to a close, a tragic tale of love and loss that echoed through the ages. In the end, he was but a fleeting shadow, a forgotten soul lost in the vast expanse of eternity. As he took his final breath, Henry's thoughts turned to Juliana, the woman who had stolen his heart and left him broken beyond repair. He whispered her name like a prayer, a whispered plea for forgiveness that would never be answered. And then, with a sigh that carried the weight of a lifetime of regrets, Henry surrendered to the darkness, his spirit drifting away on the wings of eternity, leaving behind nothing but a faint echo of a love that was never meant to be. Please subscribe and share the video. Next up is lessons learnt from the ugly end of relationship between Henry and Juliana. Here we go. Trust your instincts. One of the most prominent lessons from Henry and Juliana's story is the importance of trusting your instincts. From the moment Juliana entered Henry's life, there were subtle signs that all was not as it seemed. Henry's gut instinct told him that Juliana was hiding something, but he chose to ignore it, swept away by the tide of emotions. In hindsight, Henry realized that he should have listened to his instincts, that nagging voice in the back of his mind that warned him of impending heartbreak. By ignoring his intuition, Henry set himself up for disappointment and betrayal. The lesson here is clear. Trust your instincts. If something feels off in a relationship, don't dismiss it. Pay attention to those red flags and take them seriously. Your intuition can be a powerful ally in navigating the complexities of love and relationships. Communication is key. Another crucial lesson from Henry and Juliana's story is the importance of open and honest communication. Throughout their relationship, Henry and Juliana failed to communicate effectively, leading to misunderstandings and ultimately heartache. Henry kept his doubts and insecurities bottled up inside, afraid to voice his concerns for fear of driving Juliana away. Juliana, on the other hand, chose to keep her true intentions hidden, burying her secrets beneath a facade of smiles and false promises. Had they been able to communicate openly and honestly with each other, perhaps they could have avoided the tragic end to their love story. But instead, their lack of communication only served to drive them further apart, leaving behind a trail of broken hearts and shattered dreams. The lesson here is simple. Communication is key. Don't be afraid to speak your mind and share your feelings with your partner. It's only through open and honest communication that true intimacy and understanding can be achieved. Know your worth. One of the most painful lessons Henry learned from his relationship with Juliana was the importance of knowing your own worth. Throughout their time together, Henry allowed himself to be swept away by Juliana's charm and charisma, sacrificing his own happiness in the process. In his desperation to hold on to Juliana, Henry compromised his own values and neglected his own needs, believing that her love was worth any sacrifice. But in the end, he discovered that true love should never come at the cost of your own self-worth. The lesson here is clear. Know your worth. Don't settle for someone who doesn't appreciate you for who you are. Love should lift you up, not tear you down. Remember that you deserve to be with someone who values and respects you, someone who sees your worth and cherishes it. Healing takes time. After Juliana's betrayal, Henry found himself lost in a sea of grief and despair, struggling to make sense of the wreckage of his shattered heart. In those dark moments, he learned one of life's most important lessons. Healing takes time. Grieving the end of a relationship is a process, and there's no set timeline for moving on. Henry tried to rush through his pain, hoping to find solace in distraction and denial, but he soon discovered that healing doesn't work that way. It was only when Henry allowed himself to truly feel his emotions, to mourn the loss of what could have been, that he began to find peace within himself. Slowly but surely, he started to pick up the pieces of his broken heart, finding strength in the knowledge that time would eventually heal his wounds. The lesson here is simple. Be patient with yourself. Healing is a journey, not a destination, and it's okay to take your time. Allow yourself to feel your emotions, both the good and the bad, and trust that with time, you will find your way back to happiness. True love begins within. Perhaps the most profound lesson Henry learned from his relationship with Juliana was that true love begins within. For so long, Henry had searched for love outside of himself, seeking validation and fulfillment in the arms of another. But in the end, he discovered that true love cannot be found in another person. It must first be found within yourself. It was only when Henry learned to love and accept himself unconditionally that he was able to break free from the cycle of toxic relationships and find true happiness. In essence, the lesson here is clear. Love yourself first. Don't rely on someone else to complete you or make you whole. True love begins within, and only when you learn to love and accept yourself for who you are can you truly open your heart to another. In conclusion, the story of Henry and Juliana serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the pitfalls of fake love and the importance of self-love and communication in relationships. By learning from their mistakes, we can navigate the complexities of love with wisdom and grace, ultimately finding the happiness and fulfillment we deserve. Please subscribe and share the video. If you enjoyed watching, please subscribe to our channel, as subscription is free and does not cost money. Do not forget to like the video, share the video, comment down below, watch recommended or suggested videos on your screen, and tap or click notification bell so that you would be notified each time we upload new videos. We say a big thank you for watching and see you in our next video.